Today we're talking to St Albans City manager Ian Allinson down on the south coast, where the Saints' promotion bid has suffered another major blow following on from Saturday's 3-0 defeat at home to Whitehawk. We've gone down 2-0 to the next side to replace Whitehawk at the bottom of the table, Bognor Regis Town. It could be said, Ian, the final outcome of the game was decided by David Noble having a 98th minute penalty saved, but that game was lost in the first half when we were woeful and 2-0 down. It could have easily been 4.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about being 4-0 down, but certainly being 2-0 down, and we deserve to be 2-0 down because we didn't start again. We playing a lot of stuff in the wrong areas at the moment, and it's easy to play when you're 2-0 down, and we're asking them to play when it's 0-0 and play with an aggression and a pace and a power, which we showed all in the second half, and unfortunately we didn't show it in the first half. And as you said, before you know where you are, you're 2-0 down, and then you're having to chase the game. We've had to take chances in the second half, and as I say, probably wouldn't have deserved to get anything out of it, but I'd have taken that if David scores that penalty in the 98th minute. As we go in, as I say, in the 90th minute, it's still 2-0. But tremendous character from the players to come back from that. But as I said, it's very easy to play at 2-0 down. You have nothing to lose, and that was the difference for me in the second half.
Interesting you use the word character, Erin. Here's a side that's going for promotion, got itself into an excellent position with a good run of results. Then on Saturday for the final hour we got what we deserved, and for the first 45 today, when we should be stepping it up against sides you'd thought like Bognor for the taking really, and we just didn't do it.
No, exactly. And you know, we speak at length about starting the games bright. We speak at length of individual battles that have to be won, and in the first half we didn't win our individual battles. We were second best in lots of areas, and it's only when players realise that they've got to up their game to another level, which they did in the second half, that we started to really go and impose ourselves on the game, and we took the game to them. And as we said, if we came in at 0-0 at half time, second half the performance goes and wins you the game, but we're already uphill battle and giving them a 2-goal start. 2 poor goals from me. They got the ball out too easy, too wide, too quickly. Yeah, good quality balls in the box, but we shouldn't be allowing people to get to the byline in terms of where the second goal come and getting a little tap back for a little tap into it in the bottom corner. We should be having people there coming out and meeting them. And if you look in the second half, how they defended their goal. Every time we got a shot in, they got a block in it. We had balls being deflected over the bar. We had balls hitting the crossbar. And so, as I said before, if we don't start the game sharp and bright, which we didn't, it was all a little bit too nice again. We were playing in wrong areas. We gave the first ball away, or first goal away, by losing it in the mid-third of our own half, when maybe we should be playing in different areas. And so that's something we've got to think about and talk about, and see where we are when we go into Saturday's game and for the rest of the season, because at the moment it just isn't working what we're doing. Personnel aren't playing to the level they were probably playing 6 or 7 weeks ago. So we have to have a look at all of that and then see where we are, because some of the players aren't reaching the heights they were reaching, as I say, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, and maybe 1 or 2 have just played too many games at the moment because they do look a little bit tired. But I felt the way we went the last sort of half an hour, slightly different, and it sort of worked from us. But as I say, it's easy to play when you're 2-0 down, and everybody wants the ball and everybody wants to make things happen. We've got to start games better than what we've done, and we've got to be better than what we've done here tonight for the first 45 minutes. Second half much better, but it's as I say, we're already chasing the game when we're 2-0 down.
You say we obviously got to be better. Nobody could have predicted that first half. You would have looked for a positive response after Saturday, and it took a long time to come.
Well, it did, and we spoke about it, before the game, and it's as I say, we got in some really good areas though. If you look back on it, we probably had. I spoke to Tom Bender at half time. He probably had 5 or 6 opportunities in the first half for crossing the ball, and I think he's crossed 3 over the crossbar and he's hit the first man with 2. Ben Hurd's had a couple of opportunities and he's hit the front man. So obviously Zane's had 1 or 2, and Reece Williams. So we've had probably 8 or 9, 10 really good opportunities to put good quality balls in the box in the first half. We refused to do it. It was poor balls being hit behind the crossbar. We were hitting the front man, and if you don't put good balls in good areas, you don't score goals. As you see with Kieran, he's put a ball in the last sort of couple of minutes, and you've seen from what's happened there is that we've scored a great goal from it, but it's probably the best ball we've hit in the box all night, and they're the things that are letting us down at the moment. That the decision making has been poor, and our final cross or final decision has not been to the level it should be as it's been previously.
A couple of changes tonight. They forced on you?
Forced off in terms of Sam. Sam's calf's still a little bit sore from Saturday, and he didn't feel comfortable starting. We put him on the bench just in case, but even at half time when he came on, he just didn't feel as if his calf was to the level he needs. But you know what Sam's like, he needs to be out of a good spring, and today he was struggling from that side of it, so we didn't take the opportunity from there. And I just thought it was only right that we brought Tom Gardner back, because I felt the previous 4 games he'd done very, very well for us. So you know, he was out with a bit of a bug on Saturday, so we brought him back in. But as I say, if we defend like we did in the first half, it doesn't matter who you play, you have to defend better than what we did in the first half.
Can't get away with that again Saturday. Well, we didn't get away with it today or Saturday, but we can't get away next Saturday. We're away to league leaders.
I think if you do that in every game in this level, you know, we've not kept enough clean sheets this year. You have to look maybe the shape we've played all season in terms of people say we only play 1 up front, but I've always said to you, and I'll still say it, we play 3 up front because we play 4-3-3. That we've probably not defended enough in numbers this year, and that's why we've not kept enough clean sheets. Shown again today, their fullbacks got, you know, exposed in terms of the 2 goals in the first half, and second half they still got in twice behind our fullbacks and got crosses in, but we defended a lot better in the second half, but we defended a lot higher up the pitch. We didn't allow them time and space on the ball, we squeezed in, and we spoke at length before the game about how we've got to push people in, how we've got to go 1 for 1 all over the park and take a chance of it, and we didn't do that first half. Too many players turned their back, too many players weren't on the front foot, and it's just disappointing because, as I said to you, we worked extremely hard to get into this position, and we just got to make sure that 1 or 2 people haven't taken their foot off the pedal, because I certainly haven't, and I know certainly Lee hasn't, and you know, there's a lot of players in there haven't, but there's just 1 or 2 not reaching the heights they were probably a couple of weeks ago. So we have to come training Thursday, we have to talk long and hard, and we might not train much, it'll be a lot of talking on Thursday in terms of how we've got to plan and prepare, because as I said to you before, 4 games to go. If we win 2, I think we've got a great chance of getting in the playoffs. So it's still in our hands. We've got some tough games, but our record against the top teams is very good this year. So I was a little bit nervous coming into the weekend in terms of our performances against Bognors and the Whitehawks and the Hungerfords, because I think that's 15 points we dropped against them 3 teams this year. And if we'd have prepared better in terms of starting the games brighter and been better in them side of it, and taking our opportunities, because we had a couple of opportunities second half today, and if we'd have scored earlier, I think you see within minutes of them we started scoring, they got very, very nervous. And I think if we'd have scored earlier today, we could have put them under a lot more pressure. But we've had the opportunity to get a point out of the game, and we've failed to do it. And if you get a penalty in the last minute, you really should be looking to score. We haven't done it. The keeper's made a save. I mean, David hasn't put it wide or anything. And it's just disappointing. But even for me, a point tonight would have been, for me, 2 points lost.
You mentioned some interesting things in there. Of course, defeat today would have sent Bognor and Regis Town down. We're the only side that's lost at home to both Bognor and Whitehawk. We're the only side that's had a double done over them by Bognor as well. Yet we're going to Saturday's game we haven't. We can do a double over them, and we've still got a 4-point cushion over the 8-point club. So a win Saturday and we are very much in control of our destiny again.
Listen, as I said before, you know, we've still got to play Hampton at home, and if we win the game against Hampton, we go above Hampton at the moment. So, and there's still lots of games, there's lots of twists and turns. If somebody said to me at the start of the season, though I'm sitting here now and I'm really, really disappointed and despondent because of the 6 points we've lost over the last 2 games, but our record against the top teams have been very, very good. Again, it's all about man management and in terms of motivation, and you know, I have to look at myself, David, in the last 2 games. Have I done anything different to what I've done normally? No, I haven't. But for some reason, the players haven't reached the standards which they reach when they play the top teams. Now, that comes down to players to personally raise their performances when they're playing the teams at the bottom, and we haven't done that. We warn them, we give them reports, we give them all jobs to do, and we haven't applied ourselves properly again today. And it's disappointing because we're better than what we've shown over the last 2 games. We've seen all season how good we can be, but it's no good doing it when it suits us and when players it suits them. So, you know, we've got 4 games. As I say, we need to win 2. That means we've got to go and win 1 on the road. If we perform like we did in the second half today, we'll win some games. But we've got to be brave. We've got to be much braver than what we've been in the first half today, and rules against Whitehawk. And players have got to really come to the table now in terms of stepping their performances up to a level that's going to be higher than what it's been for most of the season, and we've got to do it consistently over the next 4 games. And then if we do get the opportunity to get in the playoffs, then we've got to go and raise it in there. But you know, as I said before, these players have got to, you know, you look at their performances against the top team, it's been a lot better than it has against the teams at the lower end of the table, and we have to improve from that side of it. We have to improve, and we have to be more consistent.
Tonight's match had a bizarre ending. We got that penalty when the Bognor captain was sent off for an off-the-ball incident with Harvey Bradbury, who had already scored our goal, and then David Noble, of course, had the penalty saved, and then was it handbags, or was it fisticuffs after the final whistle?
I think it was handbags that started as handbags because it was, they were. Listen, both benches and dugouts were having a little pop at each other, and then I think the emotion of us missing the penalty and the emotion of them scoring saving the penalty there, and I think there was a couple that come together, and the minute that happens, I just said to the players there, we have to be bigger and better than that. We can't get involved in that, and I think a couple of people got involved, and then it gets out of hand a little bit. There's lots and lots of shoving and pushing and bravado from my point of view in terms of what players did and what happened, but again, it was just handbags. There wasn't anything serious. No one was really. I don't think anyone was injured. I think I was the only one who got injured. Someone trod on my toe when I was trying to break it up. So, again, it's silly to have something like that at the end of the game, But I think the way the game finished in that last 6 minutes, and let's be fair, if they'd have dropped points tonight, would they have been relegated? And so I think there's a lot of emotion going on there. If we'd have scored, we'd have probably gone mad ourselves. We haven't. We have to accept it. I shook Jack and his bench hand at the end of the game, and everything was amicable from that side of it. But I just think 2 or 3 people just got a little bit overheated, and everyone else jumped in from the side of it, which makes it look a lot worse than what it actually was.
Lovely, thanks so much, Ian. So go again on Saturday. We're away to Haventon Waterlooville, league leaders. Kick off at Wesley Park. National League at South match is at 3 p.m.